Hey, welcome to How to Write a Novel, my continuing chronicle of the process of writing a novel. So I'm near English Bay in Vancouver, and last time I tried to record near here, that weird electrical storm noise that happens sometimes in this recorder was happening like crazy, so I just presumed I wouldn't be able to record here, but it seems to be working out. Maybe it's because the weather was bad that day? I have no idea, but I'm still relatively close to people, so I'll talk a little quieter because it makes me feel uncomfortable when people can hear me. That's why I spend half my life fucking past the train yard and the obscure personless beach. But man, today was a day where it was just really tough to get going with writing, where like when I got home last night, I left the lights off in my little fucking room, and I've got that, what's that thing called? The Flux program on my computer that it's like a blue blocker. So all these things to, make sure that light wasn't messing with my circadian rhythms. I mean, one day doesn't make a huge difference, but it just made sure that when I did go to bed, like I was tired. It was like, yeah, fuck it. Yeah, let's go to bed. And I guess that was pretty late, but still, it's like, and then I woke up today and it was like I could hear the bustling in the house, the weekend fucking, people live there, they're just, not going to work, so they're making a lot of noise. But I thought it was real early. I'm like, oh, this feels like 8 a.m., but oh well, whatever, man, I can't sleep through people banging around, so I'll just get up. And then it was 11 in the morning, and I'm like, what the fuck? How can it be 11 o'clock and I still feel this tired? This does not fucking bode well. Doesn't even make sense. But that's just how it is sometimes. Like sometimes the hammer of God just comes down and is like, guess what, buddy? Time to be tired today. Fuck you. So then as the day went on, the day just kept dragging on, and it got to be like 7 in the evening and I still hadn't done any writing, and it's like, buddy, you gotta do some writing. I know you don't feel like it. I know you got a headache. I know you're just like fucking whacked out feeling, but you gotta do it. But as I say all the time, that's the magical mix between needing to do work but not being able to push, because pushing doesn't work. When I push, my whole being pushes back. Which I find weird that isn't how everyone is, I'm like overly aggressive. If I feel like someone is pushing me, I'll freak the fuck out. But it seems weird to me that that's not a prerequisite of being a human being. It's like, who gets pushed and reacts better? I don't know. I mean, that whole like drill sergeant mentality of like, hey, someone's yelling at me, I better do what they want. It's just so not how I work. Instead, I'm more like, hey, buddy, time to die. Doesn't matter if I should rebel against you or if I even can successfully rebel against you. None of that matters because that's what's happening. Anyway, but that happens to myself too. It's like if I push myself, myself says, fuck you. So what I did today is got some food in my cranky belly. I switched over I was listening to a podcast, just a video game podcast, and I switched over to music, and that makes a big difference too, because I feel like I listen to a lot of podcasts while I walk around in the day, but there's something kind of neurotic about podcasts, because it's essentially just specialized talk radio, and it's like, hey, put a voice in my head, please. Can I please have someone else's consciousness overlaying my consciousness, because I don't want to think too hard. I want to concentrate too hard on myself. That's how I feel like podcasting works a lot of the times for me. So just switching over to music, it's like even that just changed how my brain feels. It's like, that's better. That feels like a soundtrack to a movie. Like it just makes my day feel different. It's like I'm not living someone else's day. I'm not thinking vicariously through some voices in my ears. Instead, it's like, here I am, I'm in my day, doing my thing, my little soundtrack. And then I went to this coffee shop that I like a lot, and then once I got in and got a coffee and sat down, and then it wasn't that tough. Once I got over that hump, it's like, well, that's good. Why was I resisting so much? I mean, that's the eternal question of every fucking artist. But it's like, once you get over that hump, it's fun. It's like, yeah, this is fun. I like it. I like to sit down and write. So, to keep today's entry on the shorter side, basically I was writing this chapter, and I wrote the rough notes for all the stuff that was going to happen. And I did mention, I don't know if anybody, it must be weird, I mean, even to try to have in mind what I'm even talking about with this book. Like, I think this will be the kind of thing later when this book is done and someone can read the book. This will all be a lot easier to follow, because it's just weird to talk about the plot points of this book when it's like, what are you talking about? Like, it's clear in my head, but it can't possibly be in anyone else's, because I didn't start, for one thing, I didn't start this podcast at the start of writing the book. And there just doesn't seem like a lot of point in getting too detailed about the details. But basically, I said that this chapter was moving quicker than I expected. It's like, this is not where I expected the next chapter to go. But I like to just follow my feelings, follow my impulses, follow my instinct for where things should be. So it was this chapter where the two main characters, it's like fireworks in the background, they're getting along better, and the native of this alien space station is going to take the visitor to go see one of the recreational areas that she's never seen before. And it was sooner than I expected that to happen in the story, but it's just like, this feels like what I want to do, so let me do that. So I wrote it all out in point form. But now going back and rewriting the point form stuff into the real writing, the true order of things kind of reasserted itself. Like, when I'm actually going through this beat by beat, it's like my subconscious just wouldn't let it happen. It's like, no, this is way too soon. There's no way these people are friends yet. This is way too friendly of behavior for where these people are at in their relationship. So instead, before I could even get to all these notes that I point formed out, they don't even make it out of the first scene, out of the first location, because it just blows up into an argument. But I'm like, awesome, yeah, that makes more sense, so let's just go with that. So instead, the chapter, a fifth of the way through, takes a big divergence into a big fight of just like, get the fuck out of here, I don't want to talk to you, get out of here, get out of my face. And that's cool, because I still got all those notes for later. I'll just move them down the chain. That can still happen later on. It's nice that I got that all planned out and ready to go. But that was not how things were meant to go. And again, my subconscious, man, that's it. That's my ultimate arbiter. Particularly on this first draft, and then second draft guy can look at the bigger picture and see if there's any big structural errors or just things that aren't making sense. But for this first draft, if it feels good, do it. You know what I'm saying? And for Song of the Day, I'm not going to play If It Feels Good, Do It. I am going to play Gimme the Push by No Means No. No Means No is kind of a weird band, because they're like a pretty famous Canadian punk band, but they don't do short songs usually. They do long songs, which you don't hear a lot of punk bands that do long songs. But man, when they pull it off big time. So this song, Gimme the Push, is just great. And I was just thinking that today, of just like, I just got to get over that moment. Just give me the push. Give me the push. Over the side. Over the side. And I did it. I gave myself the push. And I did a bunch of writing. And this chapter is not quite sewn up yet, because now I got a new idea for the ending. It's like, okay, if it's going to end in a fight, then there's another little tag I can put on. I had to dig through my notes and find, it's like, didn't I have a moment that would fit for this? So I went and found that and got that note, put it in the folder. So it's all set for me tomorrow. Tomorrow I should be able to wrap this chapter up, this shrunken version of this chapter. So we'll check in tomorrow and see how that went, shall we? Here's No Means No with Gimme the Push.